here that I made. I have a template for this that I bring into Paint, and then I just fill in all the different colors. This has 112 segments that go around the bowl here for each row. So then I design this first. Then what I do is using Woodturner Pro software. Then here's all your rows, and in this case I just put one pattern in there, so that's how it'll look from the side. There'll be 7 of them. So using this I can come up with the outline here that I want, and then I use this software then to for each row. Then it tells me how big of an edge I make, what kind of angle. These are all 112, so the same angle, but it does the edge changes for each row gets bigger. So use that for that. Then finally what I do here is I build myself a spreadsheet, and on the spreadsheet first what I do here is I count for each row how many whites, reds, blacks, yellows, so forth, and I put that count in here, and then I use that information over here that adds up how much of this wood that I'm going to eat total. So then this is my cutting pattern I'll be using for 1-inch stuff, which is at the first 9 rows, 9 rows here, and then I'll convert it down to set 3/4 of an inch after that. So I've gone ahead and cut and started gluing it up here. I'll get a piece in a second here. I'll show you how I change this then into what I need to use. So what I do then is I cut these. You see these are thin little pieces here, like that. I did is glue the other end together here. See, I glued it. Glue's not totally dry either. So for this particular one, I put 7 wingy pieces in there. Actually, all of them are going to have. Making some strips here. These are the strips that I make ahead of time. Glue one end only. So I'm going to go and cut the little pieces here. So this is a jig that's made using Seg Easy plans on their site, and I really love it. So I set these fences up here. I set the fences up with this. I purchased these from Seg Easy, and you put that in there like that, a wedge in there, and then you tighten down these guys appropriately, and there you got your 24 segments per row. So built this as a stop so you can have the same size pieces each time, and in this particular case they're 0.68 edges, so I've got that all dialed in here. So I just have to each time, each piece, I alternate between here and here. So I'll just show you there. I need 24 of these guys now, and I needed 0.68. I made them a tiny bit bigger. That's at 0.687 here, so close enough. So anyway, I go cut 24 of them, glue it up like a normal ring. So I got my first row on now. What I do here, this is 24 segments like I showed earlier. When it's all dry, I split it into 2 rings, and then I offset it here. to get the brick layer, because then you're going to be putting open segment on top of that. Just gives it a little bit more assurance that this bottom ring will stay together. Alright, so how I cut these pieces here, I built this jig, have it all locked down, then I put one on top, and then cut it. The pieces I'm working on right now are the very first row. I need 28 yellow heart per row on the first row, and they're 0.12 inches size. So let's see what we got here. Reading it at 0.123, which pretty good there. So I'll just go ahead. Okay, so this first row is 5 1/8, so I set that with this guy here. And then this goes up and down. We see knobs, it goes up and down. So now I'm following the plan, and the plan calls for a red, yellow, yellow, red, cherry, red, red, cherry, red, yellow, yellow, red, with 4 whites in between. So that's what I follow, is this here. So starts with a red, and I got this set, there's 0. So this is 112 segments per row. So the outer edge, that's what this is, 112. So what I do is for each one I move it, I skip one. So that'll give the placement of the next one. And then when I go on top of the next row, then I'll offset it by 1 hole. So that's how that works out. These first few rows are so small. You know, this is 0.12 inches. It gets better as you go up higher on the count. Somewhere about 0.16, 0.17. I have no problem with no problem at all. But this 0.12, that's a little bit of, for me, my big old clumsy fingers. So red and then 2 yellows, it says. Okay, so first row is on now. Start the second. So with this jig here, what I did was use the base plate that comes with the lathe for Powermatic. And what I did here was had this milled out. So all I have to do here, stick it in there like that. And then these just kind of tighten it up so there's no movement at all. It's fairly tight without that, but this totally makes it solid. So then on this, to set this up then for each row, move that down and tightens it up. And then I set this here, so this next one calls for 6 1/8, so I put it at 6 1/8, and away we go. So then I can start gluing down pieces here. So for every row I sand each row to get the high spots off. Working on the third open segment row here. Okay, we're putting on the 9th open segment row now. So it's at 8 5/8 inch diameter now. Pieces are getting much bigger. So working on row 22 now. The pieces are at this widest part 0.25, so 1/4 of an inch. And the bottom pieces were 0.12, so a little over twice as big as the bottom pieces right now. This bowl will have 34 rows total. For this next row, the plan calls for 0.26 inch pieces. The last row was 0.25, so I got to increase it by about 1/2 of an inch. So what I do first of all is I put my feeler gauge in. And I do that by first loosening the clamp, moving it over, sticking in the feeler gauge, gives you the 1/2 of an inch. Clamp it down again. Take out the feeler gauge, move it over to get increased size. Put your piece in there, secure it. And cut. We're looking for something close to 0.26 here. It can be just a little bit under that if, you know, because it will work out just fine if it's 26.8, 7. So it's 26.01, so we're going to go with that. So I'm row 28 now. The pieces are 0.27 inches at the wide point. And this row has all maple, so I won't goof up the pattern. Alright, that's row 29 complete. Alright, so all the rows are on now. Now it's time to start sanding and lathing. I'll start out with sanding to get all the rough edges off. Then from there, I'll move on to lathing. I do that so it can reduce the chip out, especially at the very bottom here, where these pieces are really small. So I think that's close enough. Let's cut it off at this point. It's to create the center that looks like this. Now, with this, you can see that the white has a smaller angle than the red. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to use my wedgie set sled here. And you know, you can buy these. Happens to be 24, and then it's 15 degrees here. So you can put that on your wedgie sled and adjust it so it's tight on here. Well, I don't have that luxury with this because it's a different angle. I've calculated the angle out here for the white part to be 12.8571, 7 segments. And the wider part here, the red, is 19.28 degrees. So how I'm going to make that work is I'm going to use this guy right here, and I'm going to put it in there and get the correct angle for, so for the white is 12.8571. Well, I'm not going to get 12.8571. I'm going to go to 12.8. So remembering that the angle I was looking for was 12.8571, so it's almost 12.9. So I got it adjusted to 12.9 right now with the wedgie sled. It looks like they're all tight and everything. So I'm going to go with 2.9 degrees and go from there. So now I got these pieces here cut. I need 7 of them, and so basically I'm just making sure that they're about the right size here. So I put it in here, and it looks like it's pretty dang correct as far as the angle and the size. So we'll get 7 of them cut up. And then I'll work on the centerpiece. So the next step here is to glue this swingy trims here like that. And I need 7 of these. So that's what I've been doing here, is gluing these together. So here's a wedge glued together. I'll let the glue dry now. I made 7 of these. So this next phase, I'm making this guy right here. So what I'm doing here is I glued up this board, and then I'm cutting these guys out like this. And then I'll glue the 2 together, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here I'm going to be gluing these guys up like this. So each one of these here will be one of these guys. I'll have to cut it at the angle, and of course cut the top off here. So this will be going like that, so to make that shape. On these guys here, so what I want is these guys be made here. And make 7 of these. So what I did was I built myself a little jig here that I just have to put this guys into, and then run it on my table saw, and it cuts the angles. Cut out and put together, just have a rubber band holding it right now. Looks like it's going to be pretty nice there, pretty even. It looks like all the triangles are diamonds. And so these are the, what's left over here from the center part with the yellow in the middle and wingy surrounding it. So first thing I did is take a little square block like this, drill a hole in it, and then next I made a dowel of yellow heart, the right size to fit in the hole, put glue in there, pressed it in. Then I have to clean the outside of the wingy to, in this case it's going to be 3/4 of an inch. The yellow here, yellow heart, is 5/8 of an inch. So that'll sit inside the hole that I'll drill on the centerpiece I'm making. I drilled the hole, put in the yellow. Now I've attached it with 2-sided tape onto here to clean and round the outside. It gives a little extra stay power if I do that right there. I made a round, and then I cut in half with the bandsaw here. And I got 2 of them, so I'll have one for the next time too. So next thing is to sand them down and stick them in. Well, I got the center done and put in. I am happy with it. It's